So today we're going to be talking about the InBody 270. The InBody 270 is the machine that we have at the Kinergy Kick Lab. This is what we utilize with our members. Typically, our members are doing this once a month just to get a baseline number every month of whether they are doing something that is working or not working. So as you can see here, it delivers a standard measurement, percentage of body fat, skeletal muscle mass, BMR, etc. We're going to look at the result sheet here in a minute. But as you can see, you can buy one of these machines. So right here on InBodyUSA.com, you can get a machine. These machines are not inexpensive. So at $120 a month, 63 months, $75.60. Now, we have this machine. It takes a few minutes to actually get on here and get the results. So this is included with our membership. So it's something that actually comes along with our membership at the Kick Lab. Now, let's say, for example, that you are not near us. You can actually go onto InBody USA and you can put in just a city. I don't know why this one always defaults to Chicago, but if we put in Wyandotte, you can see that this right here is us. So tells you the address, tells you how to contact them. Some places do charge for, if someone is not a member, we typically will do a $30 visit charge to do an InBody assessment. But for our members, it's included with the membership. So let's actually look at the results themselves. So the result sheet looks like this exactly. Now we don't use names. We actually give them ID numbers. And that's something that they can use to actually attach to an app on their phone that gives them all of this information in the app. So let's start at the top and go down. So obviously we do the height measurement, age, we put in their gender, and it does the date and time that they did the exam. You should be doing this at the same time every month. We recommend in the morning. And we recommend in the morning because you should be 4 hours from eating, about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour with drinking anything. And we do recommend that you go to the bathroom right before you jump on the machine. But you should be consistently doing it around the same time every month and around the same time of day that you do it to get the most exact and specific result that is going to be measuring you on that same basis every month. Also, if you're a lady, you should not be doing it while you are menstruating because that throws off your water. So let's look at the three things that it looks at. So the body composition analysis right up here at the top looks at the amount of water in the body. So this is your total body in pounds. Your muscle and bones, which is considered your dry lean mass, again, in pounds. Storing excess energy, which is your body fat mass, in pounds. And then these three, so 60 plus 21.6 plus 48.7 for this pretend Jane Doe person, ends up being 130 pounds and 130.3 pounds. So here's the thing. When we look at the muscle and fat analysis, and keep in mind that this is part of the reason that we say weight is not the number that you should be going by when you're trying to determine whether or not either the nutrition program or the fitness program that you're on is working. Because if you're adding skeletal muscle mass and you're dropping fat, your weight can either stay the same or go up. So let's say, for example, that this person's water stays the same. But let's say they have their dry lean mass go up 10 pounds. So this goes up to 31.6. And let's say at the same time, which would be amazing, but by the way, to lose that much, but especially in a month. But so let's say this would then go down to 38.7. They're going to weigh the exact same, but they're going to have 10 pounds more of muscle and 10 pounds less of fat. That person is going to look dramatically different, dramatically better. And in the reverse, someone that had lost 10 pounds of that, muscle, that dry lean mass, and put on 10 pounds of fat would weigh the exact same, but would look much different. Not as good. Correct? So that is why weight is not a great way to determine whether or not what you're doing is working. So we really look at two numbers down here in the muscle fat analysis, and there are explanations of all these on the side, and you can go onto the website that I'm on right now and look at these in greater detail. But skeletal muscle mass, we want this number to continue to be moving to the right. So skeletal muscle mass, when this person is right in that 100, around that 100 mark, is where we would want them to be. So you can see lean mass goes right up here. It wants them to put on about 8 pounds of lean body mass. The body fat mass, we want that also to come down here into that 100 range. And this one suggests that they take down about 22 pounds. Now, this is not going to be an exact measurement, because a lot of people, as they're adding body fat or as they're adding muscle, they're losing body fat. Don't think of it as like a weight change, because it's not. BMI is actually and I love that this gives you an idea over here. BMI, as it says right over here on the right, is an index used to determine obesity by using height and weight. That's all that it looks at. It doesn't look at how muscular you are. So the more muscular you are, the more SMM you have, the more inaccurate BMI is. So keep that in mind, that BMI is not really a measurement that we take a look at. We're looking at skeletal muscle mass and body fat mass. We want this number to move to the right. In this circumstance, we want this number to move to the left. However, in some circumstances, if they were way down here, we would want it to move to the right. Now we look at this segmental lean analysis, which is this next box down here. And this does not, people have asked me this before, this does not give you like a morph of what you look like. It's just a blank, like gray form. But the numbers that are down in these areas do represent the amount of skeletal muscle mass in that part of your body. Ideally, we would want all of these numbers that are down here, the 90.2, the 94.1, the 92.2, the 72.8, and the 74.3 to be up over 100%. That means that you have enough muscle in that area of the body to support that area of the body. So, and now with this person, if I'm looking at this person, I would assume that, and I would ask, are you right-handed? Because this person clearly favors that right hand. Now, that person could say, no, I'm actually left-handed, but I had a significant injury to my left arm. That would totally make sense to me. Legs are much more difficult to get up over 100. Not because legs look typically bigger than arms do, but we ask the legs to do a lot more. So the skeletal muscle mass that is needed in these areas is much higher. So don't be surprised if your arms are closer to 100 and your legs are not. But this is something that we're going to look at month over month to determine if the program that we've got you on and the workout regime and the nutrition is actually working. So as you can see in this body composition history, we're going to look at each thing month over month. So you can see now the weight is going to do what the weight's going to do. But you can see in this person, the skeletal muscle mass started out at 44.3 and it went down a little bit. Here's the thing, when you're trying to drop, if your goal is to drop body fat, you might have to sacrifice a little bit of skeletal muscle mass because they're so opposed that they're opposing forces kind of at work here. So a lot of times when you're trying to drop your body fat mass, your PBF, so body fat mass is right here, PBF is down here. When you're trying to drop that body fat mass, that PBF, a lot of times you are going to sacrifice some of your skeletal muscle mass. But what's interesting here is you see this PBF consistently, that's percentage of body fat, consistently going down to where it's at that 37.5. And they haven't really sacrificed a whole lot of skeletal muscle mass. But a lot of times you'll have them go up and down because maybe for 2 months or 3 months, some people do it for a quarter on, a quarter off, where they'll focus on skeletal muscle mass. You'll hear especially like bodybuilders, figure competition people say that is their like bulking phase. And they realize that they're going to probably increase their body fat mass while they're increasing their skeletal muscle mass. Does it happen? Have I seen people increase their skeletal muscle mass while decreasing their body fat? Yes. However, it's rare and you have to be very disciplined with your diet because you need to get enough calories to support the muscle that you're trying to add while also not adding any empty calories. So so that you're still able to drop body fat mass. So on the next video next week, we will go into this basal metabolic rate because that's a whole conversation in itself. And it's where we start having a conversation about nutrition. So next week, we'll talk about the app and we'll talk about this basal metabolic rate and how we use that to help us I guess, guide someone in their nutrition. We believe more in teaching a man to fish instead of giving a man a fish. We have those options, but I think it's more rewarding for someone to be able to learn how food works for them specifically than for us to tell them, eat this and you'll have a great result. It's not typically the case. It's better if they're participating in developing their own nutrition program based on information that they're getting once a month, um, giving them the feedback as to whether or not this is working. If I was talking to this Jane Doe, I would say, hey, if you're trying to lose percentage, your PBF, your percentage of body fat or that body fat mass, you're doing a great job. So whatever you're doing, keep it up. Yes, you're going to sacrifice a little skeletal muscle mass, but no worries. All right. Talk to you guys next week.